Justice used to look very different. It was public, it was theatrical, and it was meant to make you tremble. Tonight we journey into history's most terrifying punishments. From myth to reality, from law to spectacle. 5 chapters. One question: what did punishment mean? For rulers, it was order. For crowds, a lesson. For the accused, fate. Viewer discretion advised. History didn't whisper, it screamed. First, the Iron Maiden, myth versus reality. Then, medieval torture laws, what was actually allowed. Third, punishments for stealing bread, poverty on trial. Fourth, public executions, the ultimate theatre of fear. Finally, ancient prison systems, cages before cells. You know the Iron Maiden, a spiked coffin swallowing the condemned. Stories say victims stood, pierced, unable to move. But the real spike is this: the Maiden is mostly a myth, no solid medieval records. Exhibition pieces appear centuries later. Many were built for profit, a terror prop for paying crowds. Sensational journalism did the rest. Myth on the left, evidence on the right. The right is quieter but stronger. Sideshow owners craved shock, museums craved visitors. Some devices could not even function as described. Fear sells, the ledger proves it. Authentic medieval cruelty existed, yes, just not this one. Racks, pillories, whips, fire, these are real. Read the plaques. The fine print often whispers the truth. Copies spread across Europe in the 1800s, an icon of terror, not a tool of medieval law. Lesson 1. Verify the legend before you fear it. Cruelty thrives in records. Spectacle thrives in memory. We move on, this time to actual rules for pain. What did the law really permit? The answer is colder than fiction. In parts of Europe, torture was regulated, not random. Often it required a threshold, strong suspicion, or partial proof. Confession was the gold standard of guilt. Judges could order torment to extract words, not punishment per se. Some rules demanded no blood, or limited sessions and durations. Time limits existed, on paper. Reality bent under pressure, money, and fear. Approved methods varied by region. Strain the joints, not spill blood. The strappado wrenched shoulders from sockets, the rack extended limbs past mercy, inch by inch. Thumb screws traded silence for screams. Some codes forbade repeat sessions without new evidence. Alive was a rule, broken was a result. Public opinion tugged on the gavel. Law courts were stages where power proved itself. Rules above, reality below. The stairs between were slippery. Even with rules, pain corrupts judgment. Presumption of innocence was fragile or absent. Verdicts ended bodies, but they also shaped societies. What did hunger cost? A loaf of bread. Survival to one, theft to another. Consequences depended on place, time, and status. Common punishments: pillory, whipping, fines, branding. Whipping delivered speed and spectacle. Couldn't pay a fine? Debt itself became a cage. Branding marked poverty, as if it were character. Even children faced hard lessons on hard streets. Repeat theft could escalate to harsher fates. In some eras, even petty theft risked the noose. Mercy lived or died in a magistrate's mood. Communities sometimes chose compassion over code. Workhouses offered food at the price of freedom. Hunger doesn't argue, it takes. Law spoke louder than appetite. Punishment for theft punished poverty itself. A lifetime bill for a moment of need. Societies evolve when shame turns into support. But in our story, the crowd still gathers for a greater show. The theatre of fear opens its gates. Enter the stage. Execution day began like a festival. Workmen, vendors, watchers. Spectacle trained the public to fear and obey. Music and ritual framed death as civic order. The condemned were props and protagonists. Authority surrounded the final act. Audiences came for closure, fear, or curiosity. Commerce never missed a chance. Hanging aimed for speed, but botches were common. Beheading signaled rank or region. Burning punished heresy or arson in certain codes. The wheel broke bodies as a warning to the borderlands. Even professionals feared failure before a restless crowd. Children learned lessons no school would teach. Printed accounts turned death into media. By night, the stage was gone. The lesson lingered. Some saw justice, others saw cruelty masquerading as order. Every execution ended a life and began a story. Public pain policed private fear. But what about prisons before prisons as we know them? We go older and darker. In antiquity, prisons often held, not punished. Cells were waypoints to trial, ransom, or execution. Debtors and captives mixed with criminals. Records list fines, not rehabilitation. Conditions were tools: dirt, dark, hunger. Coins could unlock more than keys. Food often came from family, not the state. Roman systems drew lines between status and suffering. Discipline was labor and lash, not therapy. Transport and exile were mobile prisons. Hard labor wrote punishment into the landscape. Walls keep secrets, the scratched names refuse. Reform was rare. Retribution ruled. Silence was part of the sentence. Centuries later, prisons became the punishment. Surveillance replaced the scaffold's crowd. Isolation was the new theater, private, constant, a different fear, not of dying, but of disappearing. From myth to law, from bread to blade, from pit to cell. What did we learn? One more thought before we part. Justice once relied on fear, spectacle, and scars. Myths can be louder than truth. Look closer. Laws can restrain cruelty or excuse it, demand the first. Punishment without mercy punishes us all. We carry these lessons forward, or we carry their shadows. If this journey gripped you, subscribe, like, and share. Tell me, which hidden chapter of justice should we uncover next? Thank you for watching. Stay curious and stay kind.